ready. Let's get it on.
It is Wrestling Observer Live. And we're live 7 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. Sundays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific. Andrew's back, I believe, so far this year anyway. And Saturdays, and I'm very glad you're here, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. It's Jim Valley.
Thicker than a Snickers.
The effing king of recovery.
Faster than a cat with whiskers.
Back because of the fans.
Each and every one of you.
The largest gathering of trailer park trash.
You all fat, neck-bearded, mouth-breathing trolls.
They don't have adrenaline in their soul.
An incredible event, never before thought possible, unfolded before the very eyes of the WWE Universe this week. Angel and Humberto Garcia actually won a match. Yes, well, it was against Pretty Deadly, but still, I love the fact that the men's tag team title and the women's title are doing the exact same story. Love it. Also on Smackdown, Tiffany Stratton seems like the most cheered heel we've seen since Jacob Fatu. Bayley is the #1 contender for her title, so I still don't understand what's going on. She babyface, a heel? I don't know. Nakamura DQ'd in his second match of his 2-month U.S. title reign. Amazing. He's a veritable Ric Flair of this millennium. And the show ended, surprise, with a Cody Kevin Owens brawl. Again. 3 hours. But the real atrocity, in my opinion, was Raw on Netflix. My God, the best show about corporate synergy I've ever seen. And you know what? I have come to the conclusion that for the past several months, I have been entirely too nice to WWE. I'll explain, plus we'll talk about the Battle of Jim Valley tonight in San Jose. It's Jim Valley, it's Wrestling Observer Live.
You're clear. Steelman pills.
Oh, can I get that number for a friend?
Oh, the call-in number or the
No, the Steelman pills.
the Steelman, yeah.
I'm just kidding. Oh my gosh. Hang on a second, I gotta look that up. Whoops, hang on. Yeah, wow. Nice. Wow. Wow. Okay, hey, thanks. All right. Thank you for that. Okay. Dragon John, thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Boy, my hair looks terrible today. Oh well. You don't come for the hairstyle. Wow. Oh well. Oh my goodness. Okay. So shout out to Dragon John.
All right, here we go.
You are listening to Wrestling Observer Live on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network.
Wrestling Observer Live, Jim Valley. Want to do a shout out in the chat to Dragon John. You know, this show, when I wake up in the morning, it's a race. Look everything up, write everything down, structure everything, you know, in a few hours. And so, you know, sometimes you miss things. And so he brought to my attention that there's a new national heavyweight champion in Noa this morning, Saturday, at a sold-out show in Cork and Hall, which you love to hear. You love to hear when a promotion other than New Japan does well at Cork and Hall. You know, I mean, it's 1,600 people, but still, that's a good sign. Anyway, need to mention that Tetsuya Endo is the new GHC National Heavyweight Champion, beating Manobu Soya, who's held the title since like last fall sometime, so 4 or 5 months, something like that. Anyway, I guess I hadn't made aware that, you know, Endo comes from DDT, and he's pulling back on DDT and doing stuff with Noah. So apparently he's turned heel, and he's now part of Team 2010. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Dragon John. I appreciate that. Also happening today, San Jose Civic Center. It's the Battle in the Valley. I should get a cut of that, by the way. Anyway, it's the best show that 3/4 to half a house is going to see. These Battle in the Valley shows are always good, and then the ticket sales are rarely very strong. And it's too bad, because again, you're guaranteed to see at least one excellent match. Don't know which one it's going to be, but you will see at least one excellent match, and none of them are going to be bad. I don't know. Sometimes I don't understand wrestling fans, but whatever. On the card tonight, IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, which I think might be the main event. El Desperado versus Ishimori. Never Openweight Championship. Takeshita versus Kushida. That will not be a title change. Oh, sorry. Spoiler. TV Championship. El Fantasmo versus Jeff Cobb. So happy for El Fantasmo. That's a guy who's been so good for so long. That guy's been wrestling like over 20 years, but you wouldn't know it by looking at him. Anyway, came back from cancer. One of the best stories of this and last year. Strong Openweight Championship. Gabe Kidd versus Ishii. Again, going to be a great match. Gabe Kidd had a tremendous performance against Kenny Omega at Wrestle Dynasty. And obviously, New Japan has a lot of faith in him, and with good reason. Strong Openweight Tag Team Champions. The West Coast Wrecking Crew. Royce Isaacs and Jarrell Nelson. Two great guys, tremendous athletes. They take on the newly reformed Roppongi Revice, Rocky Romero, and Yo. That, of course, is going to be good. Also on the show, Sumi Sakai's retirement match. A weird match, but these must all be her buddies, is my guess. So you got Sumi, Evil and Show versus Takahashi, Mayu Iwatani, and Yuka Sakazaki. Zack Sabre Jr. takes on Hechicero. Do you remember when Hechicero blew everybody's mind when he came out of nowhere and wrestled Bryan Danielson last year. And then he disappeared. Did absolutely nothing after that. That was a good week. I enjoyed that week. That guy should be a big star. I love Hechicero. Elimination tag. The up-and-coming Viva Van. She's a nice young woman. I don't know if she wants me to say that. She's a nice young woman, good head on her shoulders, and she's very driven. A lot of respect for Viva Van. Hanako and Maika and Mina Shirakawa takes on Johnny Robbie, who I'm not familiar with, Trish Adora, Anna Jay, and Izumi. Kickoff match, Fred Rosser and Matt Vandegrift take on TMDK of Shane Haste and Bad Dude Tito. In the kickoff match, a strong survivor, Zane J, defending his strong survivor spot against Viento. Look, like I said, if you can find a better card you can see in front of a 3/4 filled house, I dare you. Why don't people go see these shows? Oh, it is. Someone says it is sold out. I hope so. It should be. God. I don't know. Anyway, you can see it on New Japan World. So, buckle up, kids. 1 second. I need to take a drink of water. Oh, someone in the chat says Zack Sabre Jr. and Hechicero should be excellent. I think it's a rubber match. I think actually they're not 1-for-1. Zack is up 2-1, I believe. But yeah. But either way, I just remember Hechicero was like the flavor of the month that week after he wrestled Bryan Danielson. Everybody was like, who is that guy? Oh my gosh, that guy's amazing. For a brief moment, we all forgot Peace Mortos. That's how good Hechicero was in that match. But I don't know. I hope he comes back. I want more Hechicero in prime spots. I just think he's amazing. Somebody says Hechicero needed more TV time in AEW, like he gets in CMLL. It's a shame. Hopefully he gets signed by AEW or WWE. WWE? You shut your mouth. Signed by WWE. We're still got to keep our fingers crossed for Penta. Of course, Los Garza beat Pretty Deadly, so Mexicans are having a great week in WWE. I don't know if you could see that, but I just did a huge eye roll. Just for people listening on the podcast, I just wanted to be clear about that. So kids, I don't know if you know this, but for the past, I don't know how long it's been, since whenever the Janelle Grant lawsuit came out, on my old Twitter, which I got rid of, I'm not on Twitter anymore. I'm only on Blue Sky. So anybody on Twitter, unless I tell you here, anybody on Twitter says they're me, they're not. I'm only on Blue Sky now. And it's nice. No one accuses me of awful things. It's awful anyway. Not real things, but you know how people are. They say disgusting things because they just do. Anyway, ever since then, I hear from people, oh, Jim, you hate WWE. Why don't you like, you've changed, Jim. Used to be so positive. Then I always ask these people, well, what happened? And you know what? They never respond because they know what happened. And even though they're the ones that want to defend Vince McMahon in their minds, I'm the bad guy. Yes. I'm the one who said, hey, you know, guys, maybe sexual assault, allegedly, maybe alleged rape, maybe decades of documented abhorrent behavior, maybe Maybe that's bad. My God, shocking, stunning. But apparently, I'm the bad guy because I'm interfering in their enjoyment of fake fighting. Anyway, I've got a lot to unpack. Stand by, Jim Valley, Wrestling Observer Live.
You're clear.
Is it you, me, and Big Lou? I don't even know. Anyway, I appreciate you guys all being here today. I always do. Oh, goodness. I'm sorry. I don't have a producer. And I don't have, props. By the way, Daniel, someone loves having Coheed and Cambria in the bumps. So thank you for that. That wasn't me, but I'm glad you enjoy it. Anyway, so yeah, I don't have little videos to play. I don't have little trivia to play. It's just me sitting here. So I'll just kind of drink water and make sure I got my show in order to do everything. Anyway, hang on one second. All right. You've seen this, right? The Macho Man. Someone gave that to me. That's pretty awesome. Mainly because they're expensive. He claims he didn't spend much money on it, though. So that's good. Anyway. Yep. Exactly. You're exactly right, Crash TV.
Your cell phone and call.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
7-8.
Exactly, Dragon John. Yep.
Piece of America.
There we go. Oh, hell. I feel pretty good today. I've had a cold for a while, and with me, the colds stay on. They last for a long time. Yay.
Invest a few thousand.
Anyway,
You can get
so because of that, it just sucks. It's like, I was okay, but it just
claim your piece of American history with American.
That's why I gotta be so
Silver Eagle
careful.
dollars.
Because I'm gonna be sick for
Hotline right
weeks,
now.
no matter what.
620
Wasn't even that bad of a cold.
1624 800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. That's 800-620-1624.
You're listening to Wrestling Observer Live on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network.
I would be remiss. It's Jim Valley, by the way. Wrestling Observer Live. You know that. Anyway, I'd be remiss without mentioning the passing of former world-class heavyweight champion, former national heavyweight champion in the NWA for Crockett, Black Bart, Rick Harris. Started as a enhancement talent around 1980, 81. I saw a lot of his career. He was also a partner of Ron Bass in Florida and Mid-Atlantic. Good wrestler. Big guy. And he also, he's one of those guys who started as an enhancement talent on television, and everyone saw him. And while he did break out of the role, he never went that high up the card on a regular basis. And I think a lot of it had to do with For example, Ray Traylor, enhancement talent. They repackaged him completely. People didn't recognize him, and he was able to be Big Bubba Rogers and move to a different level on the card. Johnny B. Bad, Mark Marrow, wrestled on TV. They changed his look. He was able to move up the card. And Rick Harris, while they changed his name, he always kind of had the same cowboy gimmick, even when he was Rick Harris, Hangman, Rick Harris, and other things. And I think that sort of affected his upward mobility. But by all accounts, very beloved man. By all accounts, good wrestler, decent guy, and some good shoot interview stuff. I know there's some shoot interviews with him, and he's pretty blunt about stuff. I'm not sure how accurate some of it is, but there's some truth there as well. So very sorry we lost Black Bart to, I believe, cancer at the age of like 76. So yeah, he did get the Cauliflower Alley Award. I have the same award. Where is it? Where's my Courage Award? Hang on. Okay, I literally don't know where it went. It must have fallen off the wall. Where? It was literally like right there, right? Okay, I don't know what happened to it. Anyway, I got the same award. Anyway, sorry. I didn't know it. Okay, focus. Vince McMahon, as someone mentioned in the chat, on his X account, announced that the charges against him have been dismissed, making it vague and making a lot of people jump to the conclusion that Vince was talking about the Janelle Grant lawsuit. Now, of course, it's related, but what he's talking about was the Security Exchange Commission, the SEC, fining him $1.5 million for lying on the WWE corporate books. Now, granted, what he didn't include the money, the company money that he used to pay off some alleged sexual assault victims. Now, granted, someone in the chat says, Vinnie Mac is lucky. Someone in the chat also asked, who was Black Bart? He was in the WWF in the very early 90s, like 90 to 91. And he was primarily an enhancement guy. And Dave Meltzer even said that he made more money in WWF than he did in Crockett. Anyway, getting back to Vince. As far as Janelle Grant goes, we're waiting to see if the Janelle Grant case is going forward. And this week, Conrad Thompson mentioned that Vince is moving forward, putting together a staff and other aspects of his next business venture that he wants to begin. So, I think it's obvious and fair to say that Vince thinks, whatever the outcome, things are going to go his way in the Janelle Grant lawsuit. And unfortunately, he's probably right. Someone in the chat says, Vinnie Mac is lucky. Yes. Yes, he is. If you remember, you probably do, I was very passionate and upset about the decades of abhorrent behavior by Vince McMahon. And look, I knew about some of it. And when I heard about it in the early 90s, I was like 20. So it's a he said, she said. I thought it was possible, but I didn't know for sure. And unfortunately, and I regret it, I gave Vince the benefit of the doubt. I was young, I was naive, I was foolish, could even say stupid. So when this Janelle Grant lawsuit came out, and I read it, I had anger, and I also had guilt for letting Vince slide. And to this day, I get messages on social media, primarily from weirdos on X. That's why I dropped. One of the reasons I dropped it. People say, "Oh, I'm biased against WWE." And I always ask these people, "Well, can you tell me why?" They know why. And they never respond. They never answer that question. Matter of fact, pretty much everybody who I used to talk to, who worked in WWE, who work in WWE, they don't talk to me any longer. That's true. And that's fine. I get it. It's where their bread is buttered. Or maybe they hate me. Maybe they're mad at me. Either way, I understand what their perspective could be. But look, I'm not going to lie or ignore something as egregious as what's in the Janelle Grant lawsuit. A lot of people have in the wrestling media. Matter of fact, most people have. Even women who cover wrestling have. The hell is wrong with people? From what I can see, I'm one of like 5 people who came out very strongly against Vince and his alleged actions. We're talking me, BJ Bethel, John Pollock, Wei Ting, and Brandon Thurston. And we know what happened to post wrestling at those press conferences. Suddenly they couldn't get in. But nobody came out stronger and harder against Vince's decades of documented misbehavior than me. Matter of fact, it was so strong, even Dave said I was too strong, in my opinion. Whatever. So, Jim, you might be thinking, what does this have to do with being too nice to WWE? That stuff's not nice. Well, allow me to explain. As you look back on Vince would be just fine if I spoke up. Someone in the chat saying Vince would be fire you if you spoke up. Yes, Vince would fire people. That's true. Look, I understand. I totally understand. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at those people. It's maybe someday we'll talk again. Maybe we won't. I don't care. I'd rather be honest and tell you my true feelings than and lose. I don't even know what they are. They're not friends, associates. I don't know what you want to call them. Anyway, as you look back the past several months, WWE's big events, PLEs, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Crown Jewel, even Saturday night's main event, WWE has built up these shows, set up the shows, and intentionally led fans to believe something monumental is going to happen. It's a powder keg, and the spark is this show. And what happened on each of these shows? Nothing. The matches are mostly average. There's no big angles or storyline developments. And look, not a big deal. But because I've been so negative about Vince, I try to be positive about things on WWE TV, the product, where I could. Go back and listen. Whenever those people message me, you hate WWE, I always say the same thing. I'm very critical of management and Vince and what certain people in power knew and when they knew it and what they did. But by and large, I am very positive about talent and their abilities. The people in the ring, the WWE superstars. And each show, I have always said, and it pisses me off I said this all. Expect some developments. And instead, WWE moved along at its glacier pace. And fans are blinded by the big venues, the production values, and celebs in the crowd. Which brings us to Raw on Netflix. Talk about that and more. Stand by, Jim Valley, Wrestling Observer Live.
You're clear.
There we go. Burn, baby, burn. Oh, goodness gracious. Anyway. Oh, it's big time. No question. No question. All right.
352-7618. That's 800-352-7618.
Has someone in your family lost a job recently?
All right. It's funny. Gonna steal all the storylines from the Korean shows on Netflix. It's funny. There it is. You know, I thought Raw looked like an Amway meeting. You want Undertaker around? I don't know that he can wrestle. I mean, he can drive in and do stuff, but I don't think he can wrestle. Anyway. Don't forget, is that Lululemon? Were those leggings? Anyway. Who knows?
Are you there?
I'm here. Are we going? What are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I lost you or something for a second there.
I'm just quiet. Are we started?
Yeah, I just thought you were. I don't know what was going on.
Are we
but
talking
anyway.
on the air right now? I don't know. It's Jim Valley. It's Wrestling Observer Live. Whatever. I don't know what's going on. No different from any week, really. Anyway, WWE. This past 6 months or so, each week I say, oh, big PLE coming up, or Saturday night's main event. It's going to be huge. Expect some developments, and it's dead. Nothing. Same glacial pace, and fans are just blinded by the big venues, the tremendous production values, maybe some celebs in the crowd. Look, I was wrong. I was too nice. It's not a big deal, but that ends now because WWE has proved me wrong each and every time. Look at the reaction from the Vancouver, BC crowd for Survivor Series. I'm very excited at first. Then they realized, oh, this is just a show. And that women's match, And look, there were even some people on social who made a big deal of Roman and Punk standing next to each other in a cage. Oh my God, look at that. That's how desperate they were. That something monumental happened. They were booking things in their own mind. What looked like two guys waiting in an elevator was apparently the modern day equivalent of the mega powers exploding. That's what we have now. It's what I call the Walmart effect. In the 90s, Walmart was held up as this model of capitalism, efficiency. And today, it's the worst shopping experience ever. Long lines, no cashiers, messy stores. But people still go because they've been conditioned to believe they're getting the cheapest prices. Spoiler, they're not, but they take it. When I was a kid, sure, we had department stores. They were flashing. You love to see that kind of flash and glitz as a kid. Now that I'm older, I miss the grittier mom and pop stores and the salaries, the family wages they provided. Which brings us back to Raw's debut on Netflix. The Netflix era, in case you didn't hear that. And look, it was a beautiful show. The arena, the fans, the celebrities, the graphics, the curtain, the artwork. But the star of the show wasn't Rock, Roman, Taker, Cody. No. The star was Netflix and his executives. It was like a megachurch revival or Scientology crowd or Amway. Expected Tom Cruise to show up and salute a picture of L. Ron Hubbard. And a lot of fans, many of whom claim to be old school. They posted how much they loved the Open, and the show had an old school feel. What? Excuse me? Flashy it was. Good or old school, it was not. 4 matches in 3 hours. And the first match happened over 40 minutes into the show. A lot of people, oh, Rock gonna make his WrestleMania. And now Rock is a good guy. And look, I understand why. All those millions of people watching for the first time. It's going to be the biggest audience. And the Netflix crowd's there. And the celebrities are there. Rock, in that level, has to be a babyface. Obviously, wrestling fans are like, the hell? But there, Rock, the guy in his contract who says he can't lose a fight on screen, he needed to be a babyface. And I understand that. I also understand number of matches should increase as we go on. But it really says something about WWE philosophy and its fan base that wrestling is the fourth most important thing on a wrestling program, behind corporate synergy, celebrities, stars from 30 years ago, and production values. Now look, I've been told by very smart people how Netflix is going to lead a new golden age of wrestling. Well, golden age of WWE, because WWE says it's not wrestling. But yes, in the past, new technology has reached new fans. Wrestling went national when television went national in the 50s. Wrestling went national again when cable TV blossomed in the early 80s. Couple of things, though. Netflix and streaming, it's not new. And look, I understand. Contracts kept WWE from streaming its flagship shows. But streaming is not new. The second, media is so fragmented now. 14 million people watching football is a huge audience. It's one of the reasons that people today who weren't alive back in '88 are impressed by 30 million fans for the main event. Sounds massive. Except in 1988, the main event didn't even win its time slot. When you rank the shows of the week, it was in the low 30s for the ratings. A different time. And now, it's a different time. According to this week's Observer, Raw was number 1 on Netflix for the Tuesday listings in the US among TV shows, which does not include movies. It was number 4 on Wednesday in the US and 8 on Thursday. In the UK on Thursday, Raw was 6, NXT was 9. Netflix claimed 4.9 million homes, not in the US, but worldwide. And that number based on 2-day viewing, not same-day viewing. For comparison, according to Dave, the Mr. McMahon documentary did the exact same, 4.9 million homes. I'll tell you what, for me, maybe you've had fans, new fans, ask you about Raw. I've had 0. And I've had a number of people reach out and ask about the McMahon documentary. But here's the thing. WWE is a known commodity. For 40 years now, it's been the brand name in the United States and worldwide pro wrestling. If there's anyone who doesn't know of WWE, they live in a cave somewhere. Or maybe Toni Storm, because she has amnesia. But look, everywhere you look, there's WWE, TV, Netflix, Peacock, toy aisles, video games, clothes, book bags, anything. They've slapped a WWE logo on. And that's good. But also, a lot of people, music as well, someone says, a lot of people have made up their minds about WWE. You've heard it. It's phony. Vince is sleazy. John Cena sold out to China, the country, not the wrestler. If a person wants to check out WWE, they already can. I was watching on YouTube John Campea. He covers a lot of the movie and entertainment industry. You watch him on YouTube. And he watched Raw on Netflix. Said it looked great. Watched wrestling as a kid, but said it's probably not going to watch again. I imagine that number, that is what we're dealing with. Lots of curiosity. WWE Raw will slide down to its natural level. And in my opinion, 4.9 households worldwide. It's not that impressive. We're not talking Squid Game numbers. But what did John and his crew mostly talk about? What everybody else did. Hulk Hogan. The arena booing Hulk Hogan was the story coming out of Raw on Netflix. More than Rock, John Cena, Roman, Cody, Punk, everyone else combined. What a stupid decision to bring out Hulk Hogan, who's been booed since that WrestleMania in Tampa. Was that 37? Whatever it was. And I feel bad. Raw on Netflix is a good thing. You want to be on a modern platform. And look, it will do about what it always does. Remember on Fox? Oh, network TV. It's going to reach a new audience. It never reached 5 million, which was the goal. The first show was like 4 point something million people. And then it slid down and down and down and down. Raw will do what it always does. Will Netflix be happy with the performance for what it paid? Don't know. Time will tell. But regardless, WWE will always find a home. It will always be fine. It will sell out arenas. It is a marketing juggernaut. But it is not. It is not transformative. Everybody knows WWE. It's like late stage wrestling. Yes, new kids will watch it, but no kids will also fall away as boys and females discover the opposite sex or go to college or something like that. That's what always happens. Now, how many people you spoke to? Oh, I watched that shit. Watched that stuff when I was a kid. And then they don't. By the way, do you remember a few weeks ago, Kevin Owens took out Randy Orton, put him out of wrestling, the very sloppy pile driver. All those old school fans practically rejoicing. What about the superplex on Raw? We'll talk about next. Jim Valley, Wrestling Observer Live.
Yeah, I was gonna tell him yesterday, but I was like, I'm gonna be stuck here.
All right. Here we go. Yes, look. Yeah, it is. Look. All right. All right. Yep, okay, we're fine. All right. Anyway. All right.
And not less TV, but make it better television.
Oh, goodness gracious. All right. By the way, I think I'll have some time, so I'll stick around after the show, do a little overtime for you guys.
You want to cancel it, change your dates, or add passengers?
If that's okay. Oh, jeez. All right. All right.
Modify an existing airline reservation.
All right. All right.
Live on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network.
It's Jim Valley. It's Wrestling Observer Live. You remember a few weeks ago, Kevin Owens took out Randy Orton with a pile driver. Sloppy pile driver, but still. Fans were rejoicing. It's like Memphis with Jerry Lawler all over again. That's realistic. Unlike that AEW, where they give a pile driver on steel steps and the match keeps going. Never mind that WWE built itself nationally with Hulk Hogan matches that ended with Hulk kicking out after his opponent hit their finish every single time. Now suddenly, WWE is this bastion of realism, the guardian of old school wrestling. Okay, whatever. Did you see Punk versus Seth on Monday? Now correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Seth hit a superplex on Punk? You know, a suplex off the top rope? Punk not only kicked out, he got up and immediately put Seth in the GTS, not once, but twice. And Seth kicked out of the GTS once. Did those people say anything? Let me do the Hulk Hogan here, because I don't hear I'm going to do it again today. I don't hear anything. After all, the superplex was the finish of Cowboy Bob Orton, Randy's dad, and Barry Windham. It used to finish matches. Did anyone complain? Of course not. Because it was never about realism or old school. It was about crapping on AEW, like their heroes on their podcast do. God, it gets tiresome. Just gets tiresome. By the way, look, nothing against WWE or AEW. People are probably saying, oh, but AEW doesn't do WWE numbers. No, it doesn't. But it's doing better than WCW did pre-NWO. Wrestling is wrestling, and wrestling's going to do what wrestling is going to do. All right? So everybody, chill out. Find me on Blue Sky, Jim Valley. Talk to you next week. Jim Valley, Wrestling Observer Live.
All right, Jim. Have a good week.
Thank you, man.
I will talk to you next week.
I appreciate it. Sorry I dropped an S-bomb.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
All right, bye.
All right, man.
Bye. That's only, I think, the second time, literally in my whole career, since 1988, I've sworn on the air. Anyway, it's Jim, an AEW mark. I'm a wrestling mark. Anyway, do you want to hear the story about the first time I swore on the air? It's kind of funny. I was in college, just started community college, and they had a radio station, and I was the station manager. And we had just gotten into radio, so it was the funnest thing in the world. I loved it better than chasing girls or drinking, smoking weed, any of the stuff that's fun to do in college. We just loved being on the radio. So we're out drinking, my friends and I, and we're just talking how much we love being on the radio now, how much fun it is. And suddenly I decide, you know what? We should go be on the radio. I have the key. And, you know, it was a college station, like 1,000 watts. So I knew the professors didn't live within range of the radio station. You know, because it's not going to go that far. So we go to the station. And look, we are following the format. We're not being jerks. We're not messing around. We are doing radio because it's just the funnest thing in the world. But we are a little buzzed. So it's a small studio. The studio, I probably have as much room to this back wall as where the studio's back wall was. It's very small. And I'm talking on the radio, just doing the format of the radio station. I want to stress that. We're not screwing, we're having fun, but we're not going against the rules of the radio station. We're playing the right music. We're following, reading the liners, because it's just the funnest thing in the world to us right now. Well, up in the top corner, near the ceiling, is a hole, probably about that big around. And out of the hole is a TV coax cable. And what they do is, when they're doing simulcasts in the theater next door, maybe it's candidates or something like that, or a lecture, you can simulcast on the radio, and they'll bring a TV into the studio, hook it up to the cable, and that way someone running the board in the radio station can see what's happening, in the theater. So this cable just hangs down. So I'm talking, and it's a big hole. I'm talking, and maybe a weather report, maybe introducing Debbie Gibson. Who knows? I don't remember that part. But I'm talking, and all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, while I'm talking, out of the hole comes what is probably a possum. It scared the hell out of me. And I'm sitting here talking, hey, coming up on the radio, it's, the Eagles or Bobby McFerrin or Debbie Gibson or Def Leppard. And I see this, what is probably a possum. And while I'm talking, mid-sentence, coming up to, and I go, oh my God, there's a big fucking rat in here. And I slap my hand over my mouth because I can't believe what I've done. And now the possum hears me yell and say, there's a big fucking rat in here. And he turns around 180 and goes back up into the hole. And we never saw that goddamn possum again. I was the only one who saw him. So people joked around. They put like a Super 8 some camera in the studio, to the Jim Valley rat cam and all this stuff. So, yeah, Bad News Brown sewer rat was really a possum, because it all comes back to wrestling. So yeah, that was the first time I swore on the air. But if you're gonna go big, if you're gonna do it, go big. Go big. How great was it to see Kenny Omega on Dynamite? Thought that was a very good show. And I know a lot of people. That's right, we gotta eat. The Possum and I had to eat. Yeah. Anyway, I didn't get in trouble. Everyone knew it was an accident. But yeah, so yeah. There's a big fucking rat in here. Anyway, I thought Dynamite was a good show. I thought I gave it a 5. Yeah, it was an excellent match. I knew Gabe Kidd was up to it. I knew he was. So I'm happy for Gabe Kidd. I didn't think it hurt Gabe Kidd at all. He had a great showing against Omega. So I mean, he's got a very bright future. So I thought Dynamite was a good show. Yeah, I just wish people would understand that wrestling is only so popular. And look, I get it. WWE sells out. The crowds are rabid. It's making a ton of money. And look, that's great. But I also think it gives an image that there are more wrestling fans than there really are. And look, obviously WWE is doing great. That's not an insult. I'm just saying I think the expectations are out of line with reality. AEW, that Clarksville crowd loved it some wrestling. I got a friend who's a council member in Clarksville. I told her she should go. And I told her that if anyone asks her about wrestling, she should tell people that it was her idea to have Kenny Omega up here last night. She didn't do that. She knew I was kidding. AEW is doing fine. When you go back in the 90s, before the NWO, I think a lot of people, their reference is just the NWO. But WCW had Flair and Sting and Luger and the Steiners and, all of these legendary names. And they were drawing 800 fans with much stronger television because of the media landscape. So, look, does AEW have buzz right now? Not really. Will it? It's going to be hard. WWE's very pretty. And look, again, going back, pre-NWO, I always liked Crockett and WCW better because it had better wrestling. WWE, WWF, WWF rarely had great matches. Yes, there's your boot camp match. There's, the Bret Hart era, the Shawn Michaels era, when things kicked in. But I just think it is what it is. Yes, AEW could get hotter and draw a few more fans. But, history shows that, because WWE has got that huge budget, it can look so pretty. People are attracted to production values. That is why WWE won in the 80s. The stars, the glitz, the glamour, the big arenas, everything. Were the matches good? No. Some. But I don't know. But I just think it's unrealistic to have these expectations because wrestling is only so popular. And I told people, but I don't know. When you look at the number, like for example, that Samba TV, that first number that was on television was 650 million, 70 million, whatever it was. Not million, 100,000, 600 and some, 100,000 homes watching on a smart TV, the big screen. There you go. Thank you, Dragon John. 664, 100,000 watching on smart TVs. Not the whole picture. But, I didn't know about Samba TV before this week. And I looked at their Blue Sky and I saw that the Golden Globes, not a major award show, the Golden Globes, my favorite award show now, because Nikki Glaser is hilarious, and Tina Fey, who can do no wrong, and Amy Poehler, who's fine. They hosted the past few months, few years, So I've loved that show because it's a little irreverent. People get a little to drink. But that show drew like 7 million fans, households. 7 million, 600 some thousand. A secondary award show is way up here. WWE was down here. And look, it's not a knock I'm just saying again, wrestling is only so popular. I love wrestling. I had the best time when wrestling was at its peaks because people talk about it all the time. You can talk about it. So anyway, someone in the chat says, Tony Khan is the son of a billionaire, not exactly short on funds, is he? AEW's production values are severely lacking. See, I think they're fine. I mean, are they all glitz and glamour and spectacle like WWE's? No. But look, if you look back at the history of wrestling, TNA tried to be WWE and failed. WCW tried to be WWF Crash TV and failed. So many companies in the 80s. Continental changed its name to the Continental Wrestling Federation. And they tried taping their TV tapings at the Boutwell Auditorium to have a big stadium arena look on television and failed. Pro Wrestling USA, so many of these people trying to be WWE fail. You cannot be WWE. You will fail. So, anyway. Oh, yeah, Chris Charlton. Someone asked about Chris Charlton. According to Dave, he says it was a Kadani call. Did Tony exert any influence? I do not know. So it's difficult to have an opinion without having the complete picture. Did he do that on his own? Was he given the indication to do it? And he's the fall guy. I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, I think Chris Charlton is very good at what he does. I wouldn't, if it's a mistake, I wouldn't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Bring him back. It's no big deal. That's what I think. I don't hear someone in the chat says TK needs a thicker skin. I don't know that TK did that. I don't know. Maybe he did. Maybe he does need a thicker skin. I don't know. I don't know. All right, so, okay, someone in the chat says fine. As far as production value, doesn't cut it in this competitive landscape. So what do you do? Yeah, it was Kadani, the owner, the guy. Kadani made the call. Anyway. I just think it's something we can move on from. Yeah, Bushiroad made the call, but I don't know. I don't see it as it happened. Maybe somebody got mad, or maybe I don't know. I mean, are they doing an angle? I don't know what the information he had. I don't know. Did he do it on his own? Maybe he just took it too far. I don't know. So, yeah, I agree with Robert Dinkins. AEW needs to avoid becoming WWE light. Right. I think that's a good point, Crash TV. the reaction, Japan is very conservative. Living here in the Seattle area, and as you probably know, I used to be a news radio reporter. And one of my beats, I did a lot of technology stuff. And so I had friends when the marketing for Nintendo of America was just the next city over in Redmond. I had a lot of friends that worked there at NOA. And they wouldn't give details, but there was oftentimes frustration dealing with Nintendo of Japan because of the conservatism, just the cultural differences, things like that. So yeah, I'm sure. They haven't asked tough questions to Tony Khan. Don't you remember when Tony Storm put that hat on him? And then someone asked about the safety of employees, of talent. They absolutely ask tough questions at AEW. Anyway, so that's not true. No. Anyway, Japan's just difficult. I mean, to be honest, Fumi and I are very good friends, but at times there are cultural differences. And that's normal. I don't want to think. There are just times when, he gets frustrated with me because I don't understand some of the Japanese stuff, and I get frustrated with him sometimes. But that's just the way it is. But it's not like a big deal. It's bumps in the road sometimes. Not a big deal. Oh yeah, Nintendo. But look, you got to understand. Back when I covered them in the early 2000s. So we're talking GameCube. When people were like, oh, there's no, people loved Grand Theft Auto or Bully or those games that were, the Rockstar games. People liked Assassin's Creed and wanted more violence and blood from Nintendo. And now it's very funny how the GameCube, in retrospect, is like one of the hottest retro consoles. I sold all my GameCube stuff too early. I would have made bank. Idiot. But I was moving and didn't have the space. But anyway. Right. Xbox did do more than GameCube was third in the home console wars. Granted, the DS and the Game Boy XP, the Game Boy Advance, those were huge sellers. Those outsold everybody except for PlayStation. I still have my Nintendo 64. I've been playing. Are we talking video games now? Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. 1 second. Okay. I've been playing my Nintendo 64 lately. And I've been playing, these are hacks that somebody made. But I wanted to play them on original hardware. So I broke down and went to AliExpress and bought, there's WCW Saturday Night. And what it is, it's WrestleMania 2000, but with an early WCW skin. So if you're a 90s kid, this has got late 80s, early 90s WCW. It's pre-NWO. So you've got Paul Orndorff in here. You've got, Flair's in here. Sting is in there. Surfer Sting. You've got Harlem Heat. Tons of tag teams. Midnight Express is in here. Rock and Roll Express is in here. So it's like 1987 to about 95-ish. It's more of a fantasy roster, but it works really well. Now you can find this online and play it on the computer. The Nasty Boys in this. Possibly. I don't remember. Johnny V. Bad's in here. The Steiners are in here. Big Papa Pump. No Shockmaster that I'm aware of. And then there are also some hidden characters. I won't spoil them for you. Anyway, you can find this online, download it for free, and play it on your computer. But I didn't want to do that. So I paid for it, even though you can play it for free. I wanted it on original hardware. Yeah, if you like revenge, you will love WCW Saturday Night. I bought this on AliExpress. It's like $17. And don't let the sticker fool you. This is WrestleMania 10. None of these people are in the game. But this is basically everybody WWF circa 1994. 1994, I should say, around WrestleMania 10. So it does have the Hulkster, but it's got Brett and Owen and Men on a Mission and Tatanka. I think Adam Bomb is in there. So anybody from that era is in it. So it's going to be gray and purple Undertaker. John Cena's not in it. I don't know why they put him on there. Randy Orton is not in it. But it's everybody around WrestleMania 10. So it's great. It's a lot of fun. NWO Revenge, it's my favorite. I love it. Anyway, this is what I've been playing these days. These two. So if you like Revenge, you like No Mercy, you like those games, I can't recommend these enough. And these are free if you want to download it online. Yeah, I agree. So if you want to just play them on your computer, you can do that. Or you want to play them on original hardware. You could also buy blank carts and do it, but I just bought them. I was like, so there you go. AliExpress, like $17. So it's a lot of fun. It's kind of cool. I should get on Twitch or YouTube and play the games. I'm not sure how to set that up. Maybe on my TV somehow. I don't even know. I need like a camera, don't I? Really? No Mercy was screwed up in Europe? Couldn't save it? Really? And the cartridge kept resetting? Is that for everybody? Really? God, that sucks. I thought Europe had more protections against consumer things like that. But, no blood. But, in the N64 games, the blood was just, on their head. It didn't do anything. It's kind of cool. Yeah. So, yeah, you can play them for free if you want. Just look for either WrestleMania 10, N64, or WCW Saturday Night, ROM, N64. And you can find it. So there you go. They're great. It's amazing. Dave doesn't play video games. That's understandable. Brian doesn't play. I'm like the only on-air person who plays regular video games. Anyway. Yeah, so that's what I've been playing. No, I will not be watching. Look, before WWE, This has nothing to do with WWE. I don't like Netflix. And again, before AEW, I liked Max. It has nothing to do with wrestling. Just like, I like a lot of the Batman animation, Justice League animation and stuff on Max. There's just not enough content that I watch on Netflix. When I had it to watch the McMahon documentary, I did like The Glass Onion. I loved that. But most of the stuff I didn't really like that much. So I'm just not a Netflix guy. And I don't really want to pay only to watch 3 hours of Raw. So there you go. So no, I won't be watching. I won't be watching that. And again, it's not. If I liked Netflix, I would watch, but I don't. So, does Dave have any hobbies? I mean, he likes football, I think. He's got a girlfriend, and I think they just like to spend time together, which is good. Dave deserves that. I'm very happy for him. So, Dave deserves happiness. So, and I haven't met his girlfriend, but I hear he's very nice. He does like roller derby. A little hard to watch new roller derby. When I used to go down to California as a kid, yeah, I think he's going to be there. He will be at Battle in the Valley. I believe so. So, yeah. Anything else? I don't know. I've really enjoyed AEW lately. I think the shows have been very good. The wrestling's been good. Osprey's great. I hope Kenny Omega doesn't do too much. Oh, Smackdown was in Portland last night. Portland, Oregon. I don't know that any of my friends went this time. I don't think they could make it. But, okay, I do have a question. Those Hammerstein shows were brilliant. They were. I agree. That's another thing. With the New Japan stuff, you could say Tony has a thin skin. Maybe he complained, maybe he didn't. I don't know. But for the sake of argument, let's say he did complain. Okay? We do know that he was upset about some comments from Effie in GCW. And then they made back up. Or maybe it was all a work. So, who knows what's going to happen with this Chris Charlton thing? If Tony stays mad, it doesn't seem like he stays mad for very long. Oh, so this is what I want to know. What is the deal? I agree with you, Ricky. I think John Moxley and everybody in the Death Riders have done excellent performances. The angle itself doesn't do much for me, but I like the wrestling. So, but I agree with you, Ricky Elliott. I agree with you 100%. Oh, Garrett doesn't seem, Phelps says, I need to do the Fight Game podcast. If they ever invite me, I'll do it, but I'm not going to invite myself. Garrett doesn't seem to be very strong on AEW. And that's his prerogative. I don't know. Like I said, am I negative about some aspects of WWE management, corporate? Absolutely. But I've been very complimentary of talent. Although, okay, I'll answer these questions. But what the hell's going on with Tiffany Stratton? She still seems like a heel to me. Right? Right? Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. They have the same opinion. Yeah, yeah, I can see that. There's so much wrestling content out there. There's a lot. Everybody's got a podcast, or they're interviewing wrestlers. And I'm not talking about anybody. I'm just talking about the landscape in general. There's a lot of similar out there. And I just feel like, so I always make an effort for this to be different. I'm here by myself. I'm not bouncing off somebody. I come every day, every Saturday, I come to play. Is it always a home run? No. But I come to play every week. Try to give you something. And I just try to be different. Oh, you're very kind, Mark. You're very sweet. Thank you. People talking about Tiffany. You think Tiffany is better than Tony? I don't know if I agree with that, but I don't think Tiffany's bad. That doesn't mean I hate Tiffany Stratton. I think she's great. Yeah, the pop when Tiffany won was amazing, but she still seems to be a heel, right? Is she? I mean, she shoved Bianca over the announce desk to cash in the title. She bashed Bianca and Naomi together and threw them out of the ring. That's a heel. I just feel like people like her. I mean, she's dynamic. She does some cool moves. She's pretty. Got that Barbie thing going on. And I feel like, yeah. Someone says Tiffany's got a great look. When she opens her mouth, her character reminds me of the Clueless movie. You think she's Cher? Is she Alicia Silverstone? Or maybe she's more, oh God. Oh crap. What's the other movie? The blonde goes to law school. Oh gosh. The 90s, 2000s. Oh man. It's killing me now. I should know this. Legally Blonde. Thank you. It was stupid. It's like a legendary movie. Should know that. Stupid. Is she? Yeah. Is she Alicia Silverstone, or is she Reese Witherspoon? See, I just think she's Barbie, because Barbie, you've got the WWE crowd, but everybody knows, Legally Blonde. I'd never seen the movie Valley Girl until last year. I would get called Valley Girl a little bit, but not as much as you might think. Anyway, yeah, I'm confused by Tiffany Stratton. And if Triple H can make Nia Jax a babyface, he's a genius. And I'm not saying he's not a genius anyway, but that would be the crown jewel. Yeah. I don't. Where's this going? Because is she still a heel? Even the crowd cheers her. She's not doing babyface stuff. Her promos aren't babyface. Her actions aren't babyface. The only thing that makes her babyface is that she turned on Nia. But even her promo on Friday was like, I stole the title. Babyfaces don't steal things. I don't know. Can someone explain it? Anybody help me? Tiffany versus Bianca at WrestleMania? I mean, you could. I don't know. I love Bianca. I think Bianca's a tremendous athlete. I think she's a great ambassador for wrestling. I think she's a credit to wrestling. Is she a good enough wrestler to carry Tiffany at WrestleMania the way Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks carried Bianca at WrestleMania? I don't know. Right, but Stone Cold, that was the 90s. It's a different era. Maybe you can. It seems like that's what's going on. I mean, and essentially, the same thing is happening in the tag team division. You know? Legado de Fantasma. They're not really baby faces. They're kind of whatever you need. Pretty Deadly. They're not baby faces. But yet they faced off. So maybe that's the era now. Where anybody can face off against everybody. And it doesn't really matter. Boy, how nice is Liv Morgan's house? Did you guys see that? Tour of her Florida estate? Jeez. Good for her. Good for her. If Charlotte returns, Tiffany is done. I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, Charlotte's legendary. I am a big fan of Charlotte and her abilities. I just, is she in the mind of the WWE universe? And I'm not saying she's old. I'm not. But in the mind of the fans, is she now old? Is she from an earlier era and Tiffany is now? Don't know. Someone asked about TNA. The new TNA is good. I got some friends that work in TNA. I'm happy for them. I'm happy that there's a place for wrestling. It's just very hard. They've got a lot of outstanding wrestlers, outstanding athletes, but when you can watch either a spectacular show, the glitz and glamour and big stars of WWE, or you can watch outstanding wrestling on AEW, what is TNA's niche in the market? That's hard. TNA, what are they? GCW, you know what GCW is. Defy. I know what Defy is. What is TNA? Is it just good wrestling? Is it now a feeder system for NXT and WWE? It needs an identity, and I think that's its problem. A lot of talent. Booking is fine. They don't do stupid stuff anymore. Well, I mean, everybody does stupid stuff at some point. But overall, it's not the garbage that it was for years. And that's good. So what is their brand? So, I mean, I think it's fair to say that Jordan Grace is probably leaving. And she's going to make a ton of money. Good for her. Good for her. Garrett on the podcast said he wasn't sure what AEW's mission statement was anymore. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. I think that's fair to say. And that's the thing. I've said, AEW needs its own brand of booking. You know, it needs to do things you haven't seen before. And that's what it did before. It held a mirror up to wrestling. And it went against so many wrestling tropes. I would argue, Robert says that AEW is a stronger number 2 than TNA ever was. Absolutely. I would argue it's also stronger than WCW. You know, outside of that 83 weeks or whatever it was, stronger than WCW. Where was I? AEW. You know, AEW was self-aware. You know, was self-aware was wrestling and went against so many wrestling tropes. And now it seems to follow those wrestling tropes. You know, it feels like, and I think there's a lot of inspired in-ring performances in AEW. But creatively, it feels like there's not a lot of inspiration. So, no, when Crash TV says just like ECW, early ROH, holds up a mirror to the opposition. I'm not saying necessarily WWE, but just holds up a mirror to wrestling and goes against the grain and does new things. You know, I hate that Christian's going to cash in whether he wins the title or not. I hate it. You know what else I hate? I hate Adam Copeland's t-shirt that says legend with spelled like ledge as in edge, legend. I hate that. I hate, look, when you leave WWE, you know, I hate so many people, so many wrestlers in the past have tried to camp out on WWE's intellectual property. You know, Team 3D, Bully Ray instead of Bubba Ray, and Earthquake tried to be Avalanche, then he had to be a shark, and there's a million of them. Big Boss Man was the boss. What were you thinking? You know, all of these, there have been hundreds of them. And look, if all you can do is do your WWE act, are you really a wrestler? Asia, bigger than China. You know, that's what, your China doll. Moxley comes out, and he's Moxley, goddammit. This is me. And that's the thing. Adam Copeland, Edge became Adam Copeland. He was pretty much himself. And look, the whole Cope thing, I get that people have thought it was ridiculous. I just think they approached it wrong. don't do it in one show. You know, just have people go over time, you know, whoever his good friends are, FTR, have them start by calling him Cope. And then somebody say, somebody, you know, some heel. Hey, Cope. No, only my good friends call me Cope. And then just over time, you make it seem like, you know, you ease it in. Yeah, you can't just do it. It's too, and I get that Adam Copeland, from what his friends have told me, that's what they've called him for 20 years. They don't call him Adam. Don't call him Edge. They call him Cope. So Adam is in this Cope bubble. So to him, it sounds normal. And I just think that they should have eased it in, but made it eventually, hey, only my friends call me Cope. Only the people I like and like me call me Cope. So it's almost like a club or a password. And then fans will want to call him Cope because I'm friends with Adam Copeland. I call him Cope. And then I think people would eventually, over time, ease it in. Don't just splash cold Cope water on people and do that. They do call him Cope. His friends have told me, a couple of people who know him have told me they call him Cope. So that's what I would do. I would ease into it. The heels don't call him Cope. No, you don't. You don't get to. And then over time, the fans who cheer him, they call him. You tell Christian, you used to call me Cope. You don't get to call me Cope. You call me Adam. Oh yeah, the Sandman, hack. Yeah, he kind of got screwed. Hardcore Holly beat him to the hardcore name. So, poor Sandman, he kind of got screwed in that deal. But, dude, that's WWE branding. You can't overcome it. Anyway, so I hate the legend thing. I hate, you know, and I don't know, and I don't care. Maybe Adam Copeland, Cope, I don't know him, so I have to call him Adam. Anyway, I think that Adam, even if he came up with the name Edge, no matter who did, I think to impress me, to impress fans, you move away from that stuff. Be yourself. You know, Christian Cage doesn't bother me. That was his name first. He had it on the indies. So that's his. So I don't have a problem with that. You know? So things like that are fine. Honky Tonk Man. He was Honky Tonk Man before WWF. That's fine. But if you get an image and a brand, WWE, I don't know. You know, we haven't talked about Malachi Black. I don't dislike the guy. I see his talent. But I've just never he's just spooky for the sake of being spooky. And one time someone explained it to me, no, he's just Dutch. That's pretty funny and true. But I just think, okay, why is he evil? Why is he dark? Why? And they never explain it. So that's just always been my thing about the character. What is the deal? What are you? And the House of Black, what do you stand for? Yeah, they've got a great entrance. He had a great entrance in WWE. But I'm like, what are you guys devil worshippers? Are you a church? Are you, Hot Topic employees? What are you? And that's been my issue with these guys. I don't know. So if he goes back to WWE, I wish him well. I don't know. Okay, you're spooky. But why? I need the why. So anyway, I see a lot. I agree with everything Will Ospreay said about Buddy Matthews. So funny when he called him Buddy Murphy. I laughed. Anyway, I think Buddy Murphy's great. I think Brody King is great. I would have rather seen Brody King as the leader of House of Black. He's a big guy, great look, great wrestler, very intelligent guy. He's a cool guy. He can talk. Let him talk. Those guys can go. So I agree with everything Will Ospreay said about Buddy Matthews and Brody King. Those guys don't need Malachi Black. And in my opinion, nothing against Malachi, but I think they're going to do better without him. Be out of his shadow and do that. So, yeah. Penta in WWE, yeah, it is going to be interesting. I've never understood Luchadors in WWE. My experience is kids, a lot of women, casual fans love Luchadors. They're high flying, they're colorful, they look like superheroes, and they're marketable. And not only that, I've explained, I got into wrestling. I had a stepdad. He was from Mexico. And so I grew up going to wrestling with all of his friends, a lot of Mexicans. And so it's like, and lucha is big in the culture. Wrestling is big in the culture. I'm like, why are we not doing more with luchadors? And look, I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I want to make that clear. I don't know why. And I'm not, but I just feel like, they need to do more. But I wish Penta the best. And whenever Ray Phoenix comes back, I wish him the best. And we'll see what happens. But yeah, Luchadors do not do well. The first WrestleMania I watched live. The first one I watched live was 3. WrestleMania 1, we were doing something that day and we couldn't go to it. WrestleMania 2, I thought it sucked. I didn't want to see that. So WrestleMania 3, I drove up to Tacoma at the Tacoma Dome Event Center and watched WrestleMania 3 on closed circuit TV. And then the next one I saw live was WrestleMania 6. And then I didn't see one live again until 14, because I moved to a town that had pay-per-view for the first time. So that's the way that worked. But I saw all the VHSs, all of them. So Oh, I like that one. Of course I did. I think Andrade's very talented. There's just something not quite there. I just wonder, he's not unattractive, but is he good looking enough? I think that might be it. That he could be just a little more handsome. And I hear he's maybe handsome in person. It doesn't really come across on TV. And I'm not saying he's ugly. I'm not saying I'm good looking. But it's just there's something doesn't quite work. Oh my God, yeah. Everyone's learning now about streaming and media. So someone messaged me and asked me, with everything changing, what should I watch? And I was like, watch anything old. Watch anything not WWE, because all that's probably going away. And I was right. Damn, I'm always tired of being always right. Damn. It's hard to be this right all the time. Anyway. Anything else? Let's see. Tiffany. Anything else? Cody and Kevin. Yeah. So I'm guessing it's gonna be like Kevin Owens and Randy Orton, right? Randy's gonna come back, take out Kevin Owens, and then it's gonna be Kevin Owens and Randy at WrestleMania, probably, right? That seems like it. Anyway. All right, well, hell. It is noon, my time. I should probably wrap it up and get the show up on the website. How much do I watch each week? Okay. So I watch Smackdown, obviously. I watch Dynamite. I used to watch Rampage, as you know. I will skim TNA. I will watch matches of Japan. Like, I'll probably go back and watch, see what I can find online from the Noah show. I don't know, so probably, let's see, so there's 5 hours Smackdown and Dynamite. Plus, I'll skim TNA, probably an hour there. Maybe 10, 15 hours a week. Depending on the week. You know, this week I watched Wrestle Dynasty, watched Wrestle Kingdom, and then also I'll check out To Stardom. I haven't watched Marigold in a while. I should probably do that. So yeah. So that's probably about it. But I mean, there's just so much. You know, for a while I bought All Japan World, but I didn't find myself watching enough of it. So, oh, it's a snow day. That's right. You guys got snow in Georgia, don't you? By the way, your home looked beautiful in the snow, Thomas. Beautiful. I'm so jealous of people who have snow right now. So, I don't really watch MLW. I haven't watched that in a long time. You know, yeah. So that's pretty much the deal. All right, kids. Well, this has been fun. Hope you enjoy the show. I appreciate all you guys sticking around. So I will talk to you, I think, what is next week? I've got something coming up. What is this? I might have something next week on the 18th. That rings a bell. So I may not be here next week. There's a couple of dates coming up. Maybe the 18th and 25th. Maybe. I got to check with my wife. She runs the calendar. Something like that. Anyway, have a great weekend. Enjoy whatever wrestling you watch. And I'll talk to you next time. I really appreciate you guys being here. I really do. All right, man. See you.